I'm sorry, Koopa. So we're analyzing for Koopa's sake. So we're only gonna look at what Koopa did and not really what Rokunacho did. Because that is less of our concern. So Koopa starts out on Guiroma AWP tour, and of course Koopa wants to win. He wants to win. So what do we see here? Normally on Guiroma the east is the strongest, but there's the 3 there, which makes Arabia quite bad to start in. 3 there doesn't matter as much for Syria, but still annoying. Funska's still fine, and there's a 3 there as well. Plus the waste, or the Warlord is terrible. So the east is kinda out of the picture. This region looks good as always. Greece actually completely freeze from. Africa. And on this. This what Rokunacho do affect what Koopa does. Yes, of course, it does. But we are not so much concerned with what he's gonna pick. We're gonna be concerning with what Koopa sees, how Koopa picks, what Koopa sees, and how she reacts on what she sees, rather than watch it with no fog. We're gonna look at the entire game from Koopa's perspective. We analyze this, please. Let me see. Open that. It's a Phobia game. How long ago is this? I mean, I can analyze it, it's fine. Right. Which idiot pinged me? Oh, sticks, okay. So Koopa goes for the Greece bonus, which I like. I think Greece is always strong, Guiroma. And now it's especially strong, like rest of the East is in that great position, so probably the most powerful position at the moment. Yeah, you wanted the Greece combo, yeah. I would say this is a better 1. And then you want this is 2 and this is 3. Because you can complete this in the first turn and still counter Greece. So if your opponent gets your 1-2 and you end up with this one, you're in a good position. If you end up with your 1-2, your opponent is in your 3, you're in a pretty bad position. Yeah, 3 suited in 1. It's not that bad if you get 1-3, but other than that, it's not that good. 4-5 is fine, go for the FTB. Definitely the next step, I think, after your 1-2-3. 6-7. Showing 6-7 because Scoop and I have already chatted in this a bit more in detail, but it's a good example for other people as well. I personally prefer this as a 6 rather than that. And then this as a 7 to counter it. For the simple reason that if you expand here, you'll have your leftover directly bordering your opponent, rather than moving both away from your opponent and then having to move them back, which kind of relies on your first order next turn, but it doesn't matter a lot. Of course, this has the advantage of blocking this bonus first turn, but that's not that great. So I think this is a better 6, personally. There's also a bit of personal preference. And then the 7 is just bad. Yeah, you wanted to do it as a combo. So the reason 7 in my opinion is bad because either this one or this one do an equally as good job, or in this case a better job of countering a 6 and have a chance at income. And if you get just 6-7 and your opponent is there, then you've probably lost. Not to mention, by the way, which I thought of later, Koopa, In a 4-pick game, your 6-7 is only possible if you get pick 1-2-6-7, 1-3-6-7, or 2-3-6-7, I believe. So in all those cases, you would end up with 2 picks in this area, and then both of those, which would leave your opponent with 1 pick in this area, the FTB, and then like a 90% chance you will still be in the Spain area, because there's no real other way for him to be anywhere else. Unless he picks this, but that would be weird, because he took one of your first 3 spots, so he probably didn't pick this very high. Turkey triple pick. And the Turkey triple pick is possible, yeah. I don't know if it's super I don't know if it beats Greece though. Because you can full deploy here, attack there, and still complete Greece turn 2. You'd have to deploy 4 just to take all the other territories, so this would have to be 6. Yeah. Oh, I did not change Nightbot. Oh well, for the next time I'll change it. Too lazy to do that now. Nightbot. The Turkey triple pick is not bad either. It's against these picks, I don't know if it would work amazingly. Otherwise, it's pretty decent as well. But you have to go for either Pontica or Greece, I think. Because the rest is just so counterable and so predictable. The 8 is fine, by the way, Cooper. Well done. Although the 8 there, because if you get your 8, you know your opponent has your 6-7, so I wouldn't be opposed to your 8 there or there. I don't know if this has any advantage over your 8 there, if you pick your 6-7 like this. So you go to there, and you go to Koopa's perspective. Guess what row got doesn't really matter to us in terms of what he picked. What we know is that he has the FTB. I think you can expect him in Spain, and the other pick, we don't know. It could be anywhere. Because I already went over the game with Koopa and can go about it a bit quicker. First turn is basically flawless. There is a small technicality, but I don't know if it's worth it. Because you take Krita with 3, and if you rather take Athens with 3, then technically you have the possibility to 1-tap and only deploy 1 in Thracia, which means you use 1 deployment less in this turn than you have to do now to complete Greece. But it's such a small thing, and you're relying on a 1-3. I don't know if it's worth it. I think it's still better because it leaves you the option. You don't have to go for the 1-tap and then attack with 2. You can still attack with 3 normally, but it gives you the option. So I think that's super tiny optimization. Don't think it will change the course of many games in total, but there you go. And you see he didn't deploy there, but took that. Or at least, or he took the bonus, but still moved there with 4. You know for sure he has the Africa FTB, and he took it. Took him 2 deployments. So if he deployed 3 there, he can actually have Baitika. So at this point, I would assume Mr. Volcanecho has 10 income. And he has his army advantage there. So ironically, yeah, when we talked about it before, I said already I think this is kind of a mistake on Rogue's part to be that aggressive, but whatever, it's what he wanted, so Got a bit unlucky. I don't think this is per se a wrong play. You couldn't have done much more than the moves you did there. Ironically enough, had you moved in here and used a one tap increase, then you could have defended this. But that is such a niche scenario that I wouldn't really care about that. It's a bit unlucky. Take that one, yes, makes sense. Then you did something strange, you tapped here for no reason. All that does is get rid of a delay. And if anything, if he is there, because that was also a decent bonus to start in. And he shows up there, you basically weakened the marginal defense you had already. So, even if you started to think of taking this bonus, that one tap at this point in time was not necessary. Especially when you see this on you out-delayed him by a single order. So, the fact that you use that delay there really means that the next time in an uneven turn he might be able to out-delay you. Not what you want. Let's see what else. He also deployed 9 there, so you know he deployed 1 somewhere else. Took probably with his leftovers here or something. Took that one, and then this turn he deployed 7, so he took another territory. So at this point he has at least 12 income, if not 14. He could have 14 as well. Actually, how much did he deploy? 7. No, he has 14 for sure. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. Because he has to deploy 2 from there to there. Or even 1 if you want taps from the other territory in Africa. So he has 14, and since you completed Greece, you have 13. Next thing he did was take this. This was good. Then he deployed 1 there, which well, you want to take Cynthia. Check out these 2 bonuses, I assume. That is fine as well. Well, so this isn't good. Because you're playing Guiroma, there's no card pieces. You don't have to stop your opponent from, or attempt to stop your opponent from taking card pieces or taking a territory, because it doesn't matter. If he takes this territory, but you keep this one, it gives him 0 advantage basically. It gives him 1 extra territory to one tap you from, sure, but it doesn't give him a card advantage or something. So this is silly. You know if that he has 14 income. If you're uncertain why or how you should know that, then just ask, but I think at this point it's pretty clear. And that is the precise amount. 14 or 13 is the amount that kills 8 armies. So the last thing you want to do is create a stack of 8 perfectly on the border with him when you have leftover armies that you're using somewhere else that isn't necessary. Because you're basically setting yourself up to get stack wiped here. If it was like something else, like you didn't have more armies that you could have deployed, then maybe it's okay. Even then it's a bit questionable, but since you had the men to deploy both here and in Thracia, making this only 8 was like the worst thing you could have done. Because he's gonna get the perfect stack wipe, basically. Yeah, you want that as well. Okay, fine. And yeah, he perfectly wipes your stack. So now you're at a massive disadvantage there. Even though you have the income advantage now, 14 versus 16. Positionally, you're now no longer Well, positionally you're still the strongest. Stack advantage is gone though, which is silly to do. So that's a bit of priority, and knowing that if Templar doesn't have cards, it's not as important to prevent an opponent to take a territory. In this case, he tried to take this back, but I think you should have realized that if you just keep this territory and you take, because you're about to take southern Italy, you're about to have an income advantage anyways. There's no need to try and take this as well and risk a stack wipe. It's much better to just secure this position over there. You ruined it. Well, I would say at this point you didn't ruin it yet, because you still have the income advantage. He's not bordering any of your income. You are close to 2 of his, so it's not ruined yet, you just made it a lot more difficult for yourself. However, the next the next turn you decided to undo that, employing Krita for no good reason, I think. Now, granted, I looked in the game again this afternoon. He technically could have been in Arabia. Could have had Africa, Namibia, Baitika, Arabia. But you saw that he deployed so much that he isn't expanding anywhere. So you know he isn't going into Syria or Egypt. So going anywhere here won't really help you at this point. And you still don't know if he is in Pannonia or not, which is more likely in my opinion. So yeah, you start wasting armies there, you deploy there, but not here for some reason. And once again you split up your armies, which just gives you a bigger chance of getting eliminated. Well, not so. It's interesting the way you say that. Usually, splitting like this in the short term. So for this turn, it's technically, I think, a bit of a smaller chance that you'll get eliminated. Because often people will attack one territory with 2 or 3 and go move the stack to the other territory that they expect you to stack on. And this guarantees you stopping that attack of 2 or 3. However, you will be so far behind his stack that the next turn you are guaranteed to be eliminated, basically. So in one turn, it allows you to stay alive, but in the coming turns after that, it just hurts you so much more. So just stack on one of the 2. If the plan is short-term denial, then 3-3 is likely the best. Yeah, if you want short-term denial, then doing it like this is not effective anyways, because why would you do 8? If you expect him to attack one of the 2 territories with 3, then just deploy 2 or 3 on both, and use the rest to expand. So a bit weird to split, and way too much overcommitment to expanding. Luckily for you, he kinda doesn't give a shit. It takes both with 3, so fine. He again full deploys there, by the way, so that is now the 3rd turn you're gonna see him full deploy. He is not expanding at all, and you are expanding into 2 different bonuses already, which is a massive waste, especially since he isn't expanding. So you could calmly expand in 1 bonus, but not into this. And you see a 4 here, so you're never gonna complete this, but I believe you did move. You moved up there. You can't split your armies here. I don't know why you're so adamant on doing that. You expand here, even though it's super likely that your opponent is there, so I would much rather just have you check that out before anything else. Going into Sicily and Carthago is actually a good strategy, but because you're already moving in 2 other neutral bonuses, can't really move much there. So yeah, now get into a bigger disadvantage here. You move north here, which it's not gonna do anything, you know, there's a 4 there. You know there's a 3 there. Right. I would much rather see you enter Pontica and start trying to take that, or even Syria, than move north to this shit, because this is not worth it. And now he turns out to be in Pannonia. Now the good thing at this point is, oh yeah, you succeeded your blockade, which is maybe a small blockade, but it actually makes him waste armies if he goes for it, so not bad. You know he has 14 income. Perfect. You're actually in a great position. You no longer face direct elimination here unless he deploys there. You can take an extra income and go to his double border, and you have enough to guarantee that you stop him here. But you went so hard on here. And the reason that I have a problem with this, I don't know if we talked about this when we had our discussion, Koopa. There's no reason to deploy this here at all. If you deploy 1 to make it 3 and try it 2v1 in case he fails to defend, then that's fine. That would not be a bad move. But 7 is not gonna accomplish anything. Because he's either not really gonna do anything here, or full deploy here and try to wipe you out. He's never gonna deploy 4 here and the rest in the north, because that doesn't make sense. He is behind in income and he knows that if he starts splitting his armies like that, he'll most likely fail on both fronts in the long run. And he has a massive stack here anyway, so why should he give a shit if you break this for 1 turn? Next turn, his stack will simply come and chase you away again. So yeah, you were worried about elimination, I get that, but at this point he has no good reason to really go for it here, I think. Even if he eliminates you here, like there's a wasting of 6 and a wasting of 4. He needs to eat through both of those and then he gets 3 income. And that he will probably have to exchange for losing his bonus here, so he'll gain 1 income in the long run for eliminating you there. And you know you're already in like Sicily. So once you take Carthago with a stack, you can even move into Corrales and block him from taking the +5 in Spain. So elimination here, it would be fantastic for you if he full deploys here and goes for the elimination. Absolutely fantastic. Because that means he wasted, for the 4th turn in a row, he put 14 income in Spain. Not expanding, just trying to wipe you out. Yeah, so that would actually be absolutely fantastic if you try that. Absolutely let him, and as I said, you can deploy 1 and just try to 2v1 him there in case he doesn't defend at all. Which he ends up not doing, which once again on his behalf, massive mistake. Yeah, so deploy 1 there, 1 in Sicily just to move there. I don't know why you keep deploying 2 that massively, but because it's fine, like I know it's fine to try 3v2 Koopa. It's 100% chance. In fact, trying a 4v2 is useless because 4 doesn't kill more than 3. If anything, you're running more armies into a stack if he takes it before you. Just stop doing that silly shit. You thought he might come to Italy, yeah, but if he comes to Italy, then this attack still doesn't make sense. Because 4 always kills 2 in 0% SR. So you get the same result as if you attack with 3. If he attacks with 3 first, well, yeah, if he attacks with 3 after you take it, then stop, but that requires you to attack first. And that is already risky territory, because generally you want to attack last for this kind of stuff. to make him waste his armies on fighting the neutrals, and then you use your full armies to fight him, rather than you using your armies to fight the neutrals and then him being able to use his full arsenal to fight you. So it's definitely not optimal. This turn I one here, and all the other things in there would have been perfect. He would have had 14, which is as much as he can deploy in total as well. So he could have attacked here late without having to worry that he will attack you back and take you out, because he can't. He literally can't take you out there. And he actually played it in such a way that would have allowed you to break this, take this, and be in a stack advantage there. Which would make it 17 to 12, at which point it's 100% over. Now at least attack here with 3 and not full stack, which is smart, because you know he has the possibility to out-attack you, but it's probably smarter to not attack at all, because whatever attack you do, if he full deploys here and you attack with 2 or 3, then your stack is always going to go down to such a level that he can then stack wipe you. Because you have 10 armies and he has 15. If you attack him with 2, he goes down to 14 armies, you go down to 8. He attacks with 13, which kills your 8 perfectly. And if you attack with 3, then he goes down to 13. And you go down to 7, and 12 kills 7. Could have just defended, yeah. Should have just sat still there. If you're gonna do a deploy like this, once again, I don't think this deployment is good, but if you're gonna deploy like this, and you know he can deploy 14, then don't attack something like that, because you're just opening up a stack wipe again. Now at this point it's super easy, I would say. 1 on there to get the double border, everything else there, because the moment he gets Cynthia, it's over. Because now you suddenly have to defend a double border on your +2 and a double border towards your +6. This is clearly lost. Like, what is he gonna do, right? He's either gonna delete you this or wipe you next turn. So, as you should have done 2 turns ago, give up on Spain, which you don't do. You need to learn to give up, because in this, he gains so little by wiping you from Spain. And what he gains from wiping you from Spain is much smaller than what he gains from taking Scythia. So Scythia has the clear priority here. It's not... This has no priority over Scythia. Scythia will lose you the game. Spain might make him more annoying in the long run, but won't lose you the game per se. So, yeah, prioritize the territories that are more important at that point, even if that means you might get eliminated at some point. Because being eliminated from a region isn't always the end of the game, isn't always the worst that can happen. So just get eliminated. Hold on, let me reply to Laren. Analyzing games. Alright. Yeah, so... Yeah, he thought way too much about him being eliminated. The value that he gains from eliminating you there is way too small for you to justify all these deployments compared to protecting your 18 income there. And he still makes a mistake. He still lets you live. Spain, like... I don't know why he does what he does. He has first order. I don't know why he wouldn't just attack you. for some reason he expected you to deploy there. So basically he anticipated a mistake on your part. So Rogue's play has been far from perfect as well, but unfortunately yours has been a bit more mistakes filled. But yeah, again, you know how much he can have here. He can deploy another 14 and get to 21. So you can calculate how much you need to defend, which you once again didn't do. In fact, I believe 20 kills 12, so you basically set yourself up for almost another perfect stack wipe. Which is so deadly. You gotta stop setting yourself up. Like, even at this point, it's no, he has deployed 14 for the last 5 or 6 turns straight, right? You know he has 14. There's no universe in which he doesn't have 14. So just calculate. You know he can deploy 14 up here. So he has 7, you know it's 21. Yeah, it is a perfect game to show people what to not to do. And that's why I chose it, Koopa. Because I think it's a good game to show people what they should do. Which in this case, and the reason why it's so good in this, the reason why this game shows it even better is because you were, even despite making these mistakes, you were in a winning position for a majority of the game, despite making the mistakes. But because you kept making the same mistakes, you'll see the toll it will take on a player. Then you get the double border, and if you at this point had to be able to defend Scythia, you would, even if you only had this one, you had, because even if you did deploy, he would still be alive in Spain, because he made a massive mistake by not attacking you. So in that case, you would still be alive in Spain. You would still have Scythia. You would have your double border, right? And you would have an income advantage of 4, or well, 3 in that case, because you would have Lustia. So you'd be in such a great position, such an amazing position, but instead, you're in this shit. Now he has to deploy hard here. He has to gamble basically on which one you'll attack. Yeah, I don't mind the moves here too much. If anything, he once again makes a mistake by attacking too much on one territory and not trying to wipe you out. That move is fine. Yeah, that's all. That's all okay. And then you had to lose some at some point somewhere in that turn. But now you're still 15 versus 11 because you broke his 3, so actually you're in a really strong position again. Because you are close to bordering that 2. You're bordering this 2 with order priority, so he has to play around with that now. And you know he can only deploy 11, making this 14, so he can only kill 8 at most. And he can deploy enough to make sure he can defend this and this, and you can probably deploy 1 there, and the rest there. You thought you had a chance after breaking? Yeah, you did. You had a very good chance because you could guarantee defending Greece and the double border towards Greece. You can guarantee defending both of those and still deploying in Africa because you need to deploy 8 there and 3 there, so 11 only. Then you can still deploy 4 there. You have first order, so you could try and attack on Zama if you're not comfortable with that, because you are afraid he might defend it, then you can use your first turn to attack Utica. So you could easily defend. Instead, you still deploy there, Kupo, and someone is bordering your +6. Why would you ever try to defend a +1 or try to break his +2. Even if you take every territory here, but you lose Greece, the game is still over. This is almost half your income you get from bonuses. Actually, it is over half the income you get from bonuses. And you deploy. Once again, you deploy almost the perfect amount to just get stack white. It's so bad. And then this as well. Make this a transfer on if you're gonna do this move, which already should be first order, because you're not defending with enough to stop him if you full deploy. So this has to be first order. Make it a transfer only, because either you still have the territory and transferring in there is always fine, or he took the territory, in which case he has more than enough armies there to wipe this attack out as well, which ended up happening. So yeah, at this point, 9 versus 11, you've absolutely lost because you're in an army stack disadvantage there, and even there. Actually got him down to 9 as well. Alright, 9 versus 9. You're still in a massive predicament. Now what you want to do at this point is try and survive in his bonuses. Try to not let him take a new bonus, and try to break Numidia, because you can still make it a 9 versus 7 and maybe still claw your way back. But yeah, you just get wiped there, which once again I think the perfect amount. Oh, that's defending armies. Hold on. How much do you have? At 13, okay. Yeah, so 22 wipes 13. Yeah. So why the game is such a good example is you need to learn to give up some regions sometimes. In this case, Spain. After turn, well, 4 probably, maybe 5. At this point, there was no point in you giving it a single fuck about Spain. Just give up on it. It won't help you in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, didn't help you. Another thing, overexpansion, which happens a lot. Don't do that. Either expand slowly into one bonus. If you have massive advantage, you can expand it to multiple bonuses. Or move targeted towards a bonus. Preferably you know he is, or you have to intercept him before he becomes a danger from a certain area. And another thing, which is so important, especially in this game, because it was so clear, we can go to all now. Then he has 14 income for most of the game. As you can see as well, only once you break him he drops. He doesn't try to expand at all. You need to count better. Because, I mean, I'll let this one slide by kinda, because this is not really expected that he went that hard. So this one I can kinda let it slide, but it hurts to get your stack fully wiped, and in the most efficient way as well. 13 versus 8, it's literally the most efficient way you can do it. Then it happened here again. Your full stack got wiped again. That happened there again. You allow for a perfect full stack wipe, and then there again. And all of that can be so easily prevented by just counting how much he can deploy and thus how much he can attack with, and guarantee yourself to defend it. Yeah, you really messed it up, because I would say until he broke Greece, you had a chance of winning. This point you have a massive advantage. And then at this point you still have the advantage, and then once he breaks Greece it's over. So definitely the most important thing is to stop getting stack wiped, because that costs you the most in the game. There are little things like overexpanding like this, like taking 2 territories in a bunch that you don't complete, taking 3 territories in a bunch that you don't complete, stuff like that. Wasting armies to stay alive in Spain. It all doesn't help. But all those individual mistakes, if those were the only mistakes you made, rather than stacking up on each other, then it wouldn't have mattered. You would have won it. But constantly getting your stack perfectly wiped, on top of all those other mistakes, cost you the game. Yeah, you were really hell bent on staying in Spain. It's such low value as well. I should analyze our season. Do we even have a seasonal game together? Oh, we do. Okay. Yeah. I'm losing. Probably I stopped giving a fuck after I gave away my game to MOD, so I would expect me to lose every single game from now on. Yeah. I don't know if Shema's still here. If Shema's still here, yes, do let me know. Otherwise, I wouldn't analyze that. So the next one, which is Sloppy. So he's playing Malware. Yes, this map. I usually want to be in this region somewhere, in the northern region somewhere, and in the central region somewhere, and where you are doesn't really matter. And then what if I want to be an ass? You can be an ass. Well, it depends on in what way you want to be an ass. In what way do you want to be an ass, Mel? Tell me. Oh, the chat rules say you can't be an ass. Yeah. It says it twice. Yeah. Seriously, don't be an ass. Just be a sweet boy, Mel. Just be a sweet boy. I know you can do it. I know it costs you a lot of energy, but you can do it. I trust in you. Cowboy also said he would join. I don't know what he meant by that. So yeah, in this scenario, usually you want to try for an FTB in this region somehow. Isn't really there, so personally I just try to get +1 then, because it counters everything so nice. Food. Yeah, Sloppy's not a great one, which is not too surprising with his surgery and all, but Yeah, Sloppy has not been playing well lately. To be fair, I haven't been playing well in March either. Like, February ended and I went from like winning all my games to losing all my games, so that's great as well. And this is actually decent bonus. This is not too bad. This one is not as good. This takes 2 turns for +2 that can easily get counted from there. You could come away with that. It's not too bad either. There's a lot of options here because all the wastelands are basically in bonuses that you never take anyways, so just play Sloppy. Once again, we're gonna look at Sloppy's perspective, not MGO's. I'm doing this for my sweet little apprentice babies. So cute. Sloppy's one is actually pretty good. I would never expect it myself, so I don't mind it. It's a bit dangerous because I think this +1 is really strong. And if your opponent takes Mage Portal, you have a double portal on your +5. But it's also unsuspected. I don't think your opponent will check it out really quickly. So it's fine. 2 is also fine. Safe +3. The 3, 4, 5 is a bit meh. Meh. If you get your 3, 5 is alright, actually, it's not too bad. But if you get your 4, 5, you are so screwed if you get your 4, 5. Because what are you gonna do with your 4, 5 here? You have to take this territory hard and probably blockade it early. And then just take this. It's not nice. Your 4, 5 is not really nice there. 6, 7, 8 is fine. So his picks aren't too bad. I don't know about the 5, but other than that, not too bad. So normally, I know why he does 3, 4, 5, because normally people tend to pick this 1, 2. At least people who aren't very good at the map will pick this 1, 2. But in this case, this is such bad territory that this won't be picked 1, 2. What you're hoping for is that he either gets your 4, or yeah, that's basically all you're hoping for. He gets your 4. Let's go to Sloppy. All you know for sure is that you got your 4, so okay. See that. No, the first 2 turns Sloppy then doesn't really make a mistake. Completes his +5, slowly moves there. Goes to check out why he hasn't seen MGO yet. The fact that MGO is here with 1 army basically gives away he combined it for this one. And he appears here with 3, and if you look at the beginning, we see that the start is there. So appearing from this territory with 3 means he probably doesn't have this bonus yet. Because no matter how he splits his armies from the start, if he takes this one and this one, or this one and this one, he's never gonna appear from Slakut to Weirman. So I know he doesn't have this one. He has a combo on this. So he has 9 income, maybe 10 if he has this one in turn 2 when you see him. So Sloppy can be pretty much 100% certain he has the army advantage. Income advantage, I should say. But that makes a mistake. Yeah. He fails to secure a card piece, which is, at this point, totally unnecessary. It is completely unnecessary here to miss the card piece. And also completely unnecessary to try this full deploy here. Should have just taken a card piece, deployed less in here, and attack with 2 late or something. Because this, if he has actually 9 or 10 income, we don't know for sure yet. All we know for sure is that he doesn't deploy it all. He can defend this for sure, Sloppy, so why would you do this? Yeah, card piece down, and now your opponent could actually have another +3. You could have the 4 and then the 3. In which case, it's not good. Now you're 12 on 12. And Sloppy decides to use his first turn to avoid getting wiped there, and he goes very hard here. That is Sloppy's choice. I personally don't like going this hard on something like this, especially attacking with 2 5s. For no good reason, because you can use those armies somewhere else this turn. So I don't really know why he did it like this. If Sloppy is here, then I would like him to explain it. Hold on, I will tag him into Discord. Because I see no reason to do it like this. If you're afraid that he is in here for some reason, even has a terrible territory, then only attack this. Then you're not gonna expand into the bonus itself. You're not gonna 5-5 like that. So I don't really understand it, especially if he just made this 3-3. He could have saved 4 armies and he could have stopped the attack there. Or he could have deployed them there, which gave NGO very little incentive to attack here next turn, allowing you to blockade it, which is gonna be necessary if you hold both Heed and Choose. So I don't really understand why he did that. And then the next turn, he completes his +5, he attacks with 2, which is already a bit meh, as you know your opponent has the card piece. And the reinforcement card, so you know he can deploy so much that he can stack wipe you anyways. I don't know why you would then attack with 3. It's a bit weird. And again, he doesn't blockade. Even though he knows he's after this turn he's probably gonna have a stack disadvantage here and gonna be at risk of elimination in the north. Because if this is your situation, you know your opponent has a reinforcement card of +5 and you want to take this +5 this turn, so invest a lot in taking neutrals rather than fighting your opponent. You know for sure you're gonna be behind next turn in probably every area that you border your opponent. And in that case, if he's facing elimination here in the north, and he has to defend this territory because otherwise his +5 gets boarded, he has to give up one of the two, and that's not a situation you want to be in. So I think he had to, if he wanted to go for the +5 this turn, he had to attempt to blockade there. Which is just thinking slightly ahead of the situation you're going to be in after this turn. So, okay, now he was lucky that he didn't get attacked there. Now you know you are ahead. He has 17. And you have the card piece. Oh no, you don't have card piece yet. He has card piece this turn. Ah, okay, hold on. Hold on, when did NGO miss his card piece? Where's NGO only getting his card piece in turn 6? What? What? Oh, it's a 5 pieces, that's why. Okay. And still, the argument still goes. If you know your opponent is gonna have a card piece next turn, you still want to blockade there. In fact, if you know he doesn't have the reinforcement card this turn, but you know he will have it next turn, this is such a glorious moment to use the blockade card here. There's no need to not do it. There's no reason you shouldn't do it. Because now your opponent has a reinforcement card and it's gonna eliminate you. Yeah, now you have to worry about elimination here, so you can't defend properly here and you're gonna get wiped. The silly of Sloppy actually. And then he goes for this really weird, tries to get this bonus here, eliminate here. I don't know why you would deploy the 10 there and then the 5 here and the 5 here. Because if your opponent is going to defend anything over here, it's going to be probably this territory, maybe even this territory. It's definitely not going to be this territory. Like this is never going to have the biggest stack out of those 3. So I don't know why he's deploying the hardest on it. And what I also don't like, going for the elimination at that point here is pretty much the only thing you can do, because your opponent is bordering with a massive stack there. But he moves first order his army away. And your opponent might expect you to use your card and fully defend your +5. And as a result, try a 2v1 here in case you don't do anything and attack the rest into here to get your double border. And normally you need to punish that because a cheap 2v1 attack your opponent should never be allowed to pay off. But Sloppy retreats all his armies and allows him to even attempt 2v1s if he's afraid of running into a stack. So yeah, I don't know what Sloppy was doing there. Sloppy is definitely not at his best lately. But that was very silly. I don't know, it's mainly so what Sloppy did wrong mainly here because his picks I think were superior. If we can have a look what NGO started with. Yeah, Sloppy's picks were far better. Is anticipate because he missed a card piece. How bad his situation would be after this turn basically. Or what situation he would be in after this turn and after the turn thereafter. But yeah, he failed to do that and that failed him to blockade this in time. Because he could have just 3v2'd this and then blockade it. So that would be pretty good move. Make him look like a true professional. Fortunately for all of us, that's not what Sloppy did. Well, not unfortunately for MGO, I suppose. Well done, MGO. But yeah, after that turn, there was nothing you could do anymore. So where we saw Cooper did wrong was to over-focus on multiple places and being too desperate to not get eliminated somewhere and just not calculating properly. Sloppy fails to look a turn ahead or a turn or two ahead and anticipate that his opponent is going to get a reinforcement card a turn earlier than he is, and that he won't be able to both avoid elimination here and defend this territory there when that happens. Sorry guys, just chatting with Floppy real quick. Silly Sloopy. And then the last game was Zodiac versus Antino Video. For which I, of course, as a true intelligent person, forgot to copy paste the link, so I'll have to do it this way. Is it the right link? It is. Oh yeah. True professional knows where he kept his links. Oh yeah. Because Zodiac again made some different mistakes from the other two. Which is once again pretty interesting to see. So he gets a much more entertaining board, I would say. A lot of good bonuses. Wastelanded, and also wastelands that create an interesting dynamic in some parts. So you have the wastelands here that make this +4 really safe. You have this wastelands which makes this +4 a lot safer, even though this +4 is not really that good. And then you have the wasteland here, which kind of stops the gateway from the center to the north. It's not really in the way as such, but it stops this bonus from being viable. So this is a bit more excluded, and this is a bit more excluded. And it really creates a board where you want safe income. For example, this FTB is very safe. This +4 is very safe. Or combined with a +1, for example. This +4 is safe. You want some sort of safe income like that, and then you just want to be present in the center, because that's all that you need. Especially if you can get this territory, it counters everything here. You can get a double border on this bonus, which is an FTB. You can counter this slow as one, and you can long-term counter in there for the +3 and the +2 and the +4. So if you can get this territory, you can get like this FTB or this combo or something, you're in great form. And so I would probably pick this like 1, 2, 3, or maybe 1, 2, 3. Probably is better. Like 4, 5 or something like that. Because you won this territory. Problem with my picks then would be that if you miss that, you're kind of fucked. But this guy's not good enough to realize this. This Antidino. So 30x 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's personal bias. I think this is one of the most overrated bonuses on this entire map. I rarely see a good gameplay come to life from this. Because this +4 takes you 3 turns to take. From there, it takes you 3 turns to take this, takes you a million turns to take that. It takes you 4 turns to complete this. Like, you can't really do anything from this +2. What you can do is get countered perfectly and get a double border on your ass. So, not great. I personally don't think this is worth it at all, especially since in the long term it gets countered by this pick. So I don't like the +2 at all there. Rather see it in your 5. And I think your 1-3 should be switched. Because it's gonna be easier if you have your 1 here and you end up with a 1 to complete this in some way rather than completing this in some way. So switch your 1 to there. This should probably be a 2, then that should be a 3. Your 4 is also this. Your 4 holds no advantage over your 5th. As I said, your 5th is super strong position now. But even if it wasn't as strong positionally, let's say this has a wasteland in it or something, this is still much stronger because you can complete it in the first turn rather than a 2-turn +2, which is just terrible on this map. So this 4 is really not good. This needs more priority. Even if you want your 1-3 like this is still a clear 4th pick. And then the 6 I'm also not a big fan of. Because if you get your 4-6, you have 2 basically wasted picks. You don't want to end up with a 4-6. 5-6 would not be terrible, but also not preferable. What is this song? What is this song? Go away. Silly song. Yeah, this one is fine. Yeah, it's a strong strong first and bonus, but it gets counted by a 5. So it's mainly, in my opinion, that 5 is a lot more important than you seem to realize because it controls everything in the center. And with your 1-3 you get the safe income, which is the right idea, so I don't mind the 1-3, the 2 is a bit iffy. So you got your 1-3, which is fine. You know your opponent is there, but the worst thing is your opponent ends up in that crucial 5. So you end up with 4-6. Which kind of sucks for you, because now you have 2 picks counted by one of his. You know he has a +2 in the first turn at least. Compared to your +3, so even your FTB doesn't give you as much of an advantage as you might want to. And let's say his 3rd and 4th pick are like this +1 and this +4. What are you gonna do throughout the game? You can complete this +3, maybe with luck this +2, and that's all you'll ever do in the entire game. And he can slowly work on his +4 and then come to counter you from his +1. So on picks you're in a super tough scenario. As we will see later on in the game, this guy fucked up on picks even more, but unfortunately Zodiac didn't play it the best. Yeah, once again, I don't think this is the best option you have. So you know he's gonna go for this, right? He is in there. He's gonna go for it. It's 100% safe. There's no reason to not go for that one. That takes him 3 income. He can deploy at most 2 more. Even if he deploys both of those there and moves it into Merlin Capitan, it doesn't really matter to you. The attack with 4, leave 3, like sure, okay. But then he wastes his armies on the neutral and you're next to it. I would rather have that than you wasting armies on the neutral and then him attacking you. In this case I can understand it, because you want to probably stay hidden here, that he doesn't know this, and distract him with this territory so you can complete the +2 behind his back. But meh. Generally I'm a bigger fan of letting your opponents take the neutrals, because in this case we see him attack with 3. So had he done that attack before you, and you then attacked with your 5, you would have ended up with the same 4 you had then. So in that case you would be 4 versus 1 rather than your 2 versus 1 now. So try to not attack neutrals that early on, because it would have doubled your stack had you not attacked this first order, but had you attacked that last order. Welcome back, Koopa. Yeah, so that's a bit meh. Then he deploys everything there. Not a fan of it because you know he has this. At the very least, he might have the +1 as well. He might have equal income to you. He could also have ended up with like 1, 2, and then this first bonus, in which case he also has equal income to you. So chances are he has at least 7, most likely 8, in my opinion. So deploying everything on here to try and eliminate him. Yeah, all you do is risk a card piece. Because he probably can deploy enough there to stop a full out attack by you. So I'd rather just have you take a card piece and this +2 and use that temporary income that you might lose the next turn again. And use that advantage to take him out later. I'm reviewing NTC. I reviewed one multi-day ladder and this is the second NTC game. I only picked 3 games out that I saw had interesting mistakes. That weren't quite important to see. For overall things to think about. Yeah, I have 666 coins. It's the only correct amount of coins, we all know that. So you're basically lucky that you deployed the exact right amount and attack with that. Also, you're attacking with 9 Zodiac. It is 0% straight round. Let's confirm it in the settings just to be 100% certain that, yeah. 0% straight round. 8 kills the same amount of 9 as 9. There is no good reason to attack with 9. If you can attack with 8. Because if the attack is gonna work, it will still work if you attack with 8 armies. Whether you attack with 8 or 9 doesn't matter. If it works, it works. And if he deploys a massive stack, you will still kill the same amount of armies, but he has a potential extra army to kill of your attacking stack. So try to always attack with the efficient amount of armies. In this case, I think you got very lucky that he let you eliminate him there. But you know he's there, so you probably want to. So now, Zodiac made a mistake that I saw here, which is not really a mistake. It's a super stupid mistake, but it's not a mistake. I'm gonna pick on him too much. He thought he had this bonus. He didn't. So yeah, that is not good. That is not good at all. Of course you want to take that. The biggest problem I have, however, yeah, I can review a game of yours next. If you link one, I'll review it. So there's no good reason, in my opinion, to go in black. That's a waste of armies. Because, well, first of all, you should have used them to take this, of course. But, Allah, you don't know if your opponent is in this FTB. He very well could be. If he is, you're not going to complete this +5. If you want to scope out this +4, then going to back this turn doesn't help you with that. because the biggest chance you'll have, if he actually is that you will go to back with a fairly large amount of armies, and your 3v2 will fill anyways. But most importantly, you know next turn you can take Exham. And Exham borders the double borders the bonus you know for sure he has. And it still scopes out this +4. It still lets you know if he's in the +4 or not. So at this point in the game, you're not certain you will ever complete this +5. You're not certain if he is in this +3. And taking this territory gives you the same amount of information on the +4 as this territory does, but gives you better positioning on this +2. So there's no reason to take this at all, ever. Take Exham. Now, that he thought he had this already, this turn, fine. I can live with it. The next turn, however, he doesn't attempt to take it again. And that I do have a slight problem with, because you know, when you look at the map, you expect to have 2, 2, and 3. 7 income, plus your 5, so you expect to be able to deploy 12, yet you can only deploy 10. So some form of alarm bells should be ringing right now. Why can I only deploy 10 instead of the 12 I expected? Then you would have noticed. Alright, that +2. Now this time you just decide to go hard there, fine. See the +3 is empty, you see a massive stack there. Problematic, but not the end of the world per se. But what is the most important, what you saw here, is that he has this +3, he started in it. Which means he had at least 3 picks in this area. So suddenly your 2 picks in this area look pretty strong, because I counted 3 of his. Now once again, I don't realize that, but that is there. You have an income of 12, he has a stack of 11. You are never in a million years gonna be able to defend from that. Unless he doesn't deploy, you will. That's the only way you're gonna defend from it. But why would he not deploy? It's the only border you have. So give up on this +2. You know he is in this +3. Give up on the +2. Blockade this. Now, of course, it would be. I'm speaking of if you had this, because I think normally you would have this. You would have 14 income. And if you have this bonus, I would say blockade the double border and go to there or there to double border his +3. Because you can take the hit of +2 if he next turn loses 3. Then you still had a positive exchange. Because if you almost full deploy on this and go to a double border with him, he's not going to be able to stop you anyways, even if he has a slight income advantage. So I think that's the main mistake here, to try and defend this. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen, man. It's just not gonna happen. Because even if you do succeed in defending in this turn, you'll probably have 1 or 2 armies there, and you'll still have a stack of 12. So you gain nothing. You gain absolutely nothing by trying to do this. I understand it's probably a desperate attempt, because you think you've lost already, but I think a blockade and move to double border would be better here. And that's of course assuming normally you would complete this bonus, you would be in a position where you have 14 income. You disagree, deploy all and attack first, and yes, Cowboy would do that. That's why nobody likes Cowboy. And don't listen to Cowboy, he's a silly sausage. Now if you go to all, we actually see that. Anti-Dino had terrible picks and got with those 4. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate in that regard. Had you taken both of those that turn afterwards, would have looked a lot better for you. And especially had you been lucky and had you not moved to this double border but rather to this double border, you actually would have seen this +4 as well. Which would have been pretty strong. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of an unfortunate loss, I would say. Especially since your opponent had, like, clearly no clue how to play this template. But yeah, prioritize this. This is not a good bonus. Prioritize this one a bit more next time because it's super strong. And then just realize that if you have this much of a stack disadvantage, basically your entire income, probably not smart to full deploy on that border because you're probably gonna lose it. Unless you have a similar stack on his border somewhere else, then it might work. You hate both of those picks. Yeah, I do as well. His picks are like Antodino's picks are trash, just straight up complete fucking trash. You're never gonna win with his picks unless like Zodiac makes a massive mistake, basically. Zodiacs are better. I think this is a strong pick. But I would much rather see either this as 1 and then 2, 3 there, or 1 here, 2 there, 3 there, and then like 4, 5 maybe, something like that, or 4, 5, something like that. But this territory controls everything here, basically. And you don't need anything else but this territory in the center if you can combine it with like an FTB like this. So yeah, I would say, yeah, I agree with Cowboy that 4, 5, 6 like this. And as I said before, in no way, shape or form has this territory an advantage over this territory. You can't complete the bonus at the same time, it doesn't have the same reach and coverage as this. Like, there's nothing there. Yeah, I forgot to change the Nightbot command because I'm a super professional. Let me see your game, Cowboy. Georgia, Cowboy versus King Dan, right? How serious did you take this game, Cowboy? It's Georgia. I know 99% of all people will not take this serious. Alright, you 1, 2, 3. You used Wunderwaffe for picks, I see. Wunderwaffe's 4 is fucking shit. But had he leaves himself so open for this counter. But it's not. I would have expected worse from a bot, to be honest. I don't think his 9 or his 4 has much merit. But for a bot, it's not even that bad. And King Dan went for the +5. Okay. Did you also use Wunderwaffe for the gameplay, or? Nice. I like Cowboy. That is 10 out of 10. Flawless gameplay. Try this on Immortal versus Cowboy. Strategic Grease. Okay, I'll immediately say I'm not that great at Strategic Grease. I fucking hate the template. But we'll see.